Hello friends, how are you? Hope you're keeping well. Are you looking for a growth in your business but don't know what is the strategy for that? We have a business guru for you who is an expert in international business growth. He has more than 40 years of industry experience and served many high profile clients including Intel, IBM and a lot of blue chip companies. My friend, I present to you the founder of Transaction Focus, Charles Smee, to our channel. He has a unique team for your business support. Let's hear more from Charles.
Hello.
Yeah, how are you, Charles?
Very good indeed. Thank you.
So, I just want to know more about your company. How do you enter in it? What are your challenges, and how do you come with this idea?
Yeah, one of our challenges actually is to get into the UAE. Funny enough, that's why our company. So we've been established since 2000. So very simply, we do outsource sales and marketing, mainly helping companies go into international channels, into new verticals. Okay. We worked for ABC, Intel, Kimberly-Clark, IBM, large companies, but also we also help scale ups, companies over perhaps 3 to 4 million US dollar turnover to scale up. We want to grow into new markets, and we also help very well VC-backed startups as well. So we're very well established in EMEA. We have teams in the USA.
That's very good.
We also have teams in a small office in Morocco, and we have teams in Ghana and Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire. So we're expanding quite quickly in the MENA region. Okay, very keen. We also, I used to live in the Far East. I used to live in South Korea, Malaysia, Vietnam, Hong Kong. So we have partners in China.
What kind of service do you provide? Your specialization?
Okay, so very simply, yeah. So we do sourcing, recruiting, training, motivating sales teams. So we enable a company which doesn't have a sales presence in a new country to set up their sales presence. So rather than entering a new country and setting up an office, setting up a business entity, we help them generate revenue immediately. Okay. So we can hire a salesperson on their behalf. We contract them under Transaction Focus, and we can get them immediate sales revenue. Okay? And then we can after after that. So they might ask us. Sometimes they might ask us. We want to go into 3 markets. We want to go to Sweden, Germany, and France. We help them go into 3 markets. Okay. And then we might maybe have 5 salespeople, and at the end of a year they might hire 1 indirectly. So they buy 1 off us. That's what I mean. So they have so we do all the recruitment, sourcing, recruitment, training, managing, motivating, and we sign the contracts. We carry the company's name card, and we can put the money into their bank account.
That's really good.
So we sign the orders.
So you provide all the, what do you say, that all the backup facilities, all the support. They just need to come down to the country and just provide the focus on the core area, right? You provide every support for that.
Absolutely. So we can even do all the marketing backup, all the marketing. So all the social media. We can do events. We can do PR, direct mail, email campaigns. So we bring in specialists in the sectors to do that. We have our own marketing team, but we can do that to facilitate, because obviously sales and marketing are one man.
It's almost related, yeah.
So, and you know, I used to work for Saatchi & Saatchi, and I used to work for WPP agencies a lot in the Far East. So we understand a lot of the marketing techniques, and we bring in specialists. So we always create a dream team for the clients. Okay. So when we have a brief, we create that dream team so they can get rapid sales acceleration in a new country, and that's what we do. And then we work together as an extension to their team. So we're an extension of their team, and sometimes some clients we just do lead generation for them, lead nurturing, and other plants we do we close the loop. You probably notice on our logo there's a closed loop on the circle. Did you see on our website?
Yeah. See that.
You probably.
Yeah, I didn't realize that time.
We close the loop on the transaction. That's what.
Okay.
We do.
Okay.
Kind of our,
so how long your process will be set? Suppose I want to start a business in somewhere just like Scotland, and how long you will take for the process?
Oh, in Scotland. Okay, in Scotland, we actually have a team in Scotland. We have a small office there, run by Mary. She's a very strong Scottish lady. So we have. Well, it can be. It depends. If it's just inside sales. Now obviously we're doing more virtual demand management because of COVID. With a lot of people, a lot of our team actually being very successful there. We're finding that we're having outside salespeople who are now doing a lot on the phone, Zoom meetings, and closing the loops, in the sales process just remotely. So we normally say to do a really good job, 45 days we can get somebody in place. We obviously need training. So we obviously need a lot of, particularly technical products. We need a lot of training. We support. We have a meeting with the company. Might be the CEO or the marketing director. They can be in Kerala in India, or they could be in Japan, or they could be in Peru, and they can. All they need is to see the CRM, okay? So they can see on a real time this is what we're doing. We normally have a weekly call. Initially, we normally have quite intense training, a week training, depending on how technical the product is. And then we have a weekly call, and then we're just reporting regularly as well. Initially, it can be the first week be a daily call, just to make sure we're on the right track.
Yeah. Okay. I know actually this is a very challenging area. How long you take, and what were your process of building this super team? Now you have a super team with you. When I said just Scotland, you already have a team over there.
It's a good question. Now, I set up, actually, I had the idea when I worked in South Korea. I was working for WPP agency, and and my partners, I couldn't get the good team within the agency. I couldn't get the best team for one. It was it's actually a power tool company, a global company, and so I went out, networked throughout the whole in Seoul to find the best team, the local, who had the special skills in construction, for example. And so we created a dream team outside the agency. So that's the way I decided to do it. So, but when I started in the UK, I also wanted to, it's a bit of a lifestyle choice as well. I was working in South Korea. The Koreans work very, very hard, a bit like people from Europe, and they don't really take the weekends off. They work at 11 o'clock, and I thought, well, I'm never going to see my children if I'm working for a company. So that's partly why I set up Transaction Focus, so I could take my children to school, I could pick them up, I could work. So that was what we did in 2004. 2004. And so I was literally setting up from one of the spare bedrooms. I was running my office from a spare bedroom, and I was doing all the work myself. So it was just me doing telemarketing. Oh, yeah. And then we gradually built up. That was 2004, right? Yes. 2004. Now it's really easy because the technology is much more better in 2020. But 2000 and 2004, that was really challenging because there is no active technical support as that is here now. So how was your challenge those days? Because it's really hard for that. Now you can everything you have. It was very challenging because I was from South Korea, and there was super fast broadband in South Korea. Yeah, I know. And I arrived in I was in Farnhouse in England, and there wasn't even broadband. There was a modem, and they told me the broadband was coming. It was coming in 6 months' time, and when British Telecom say 6 months, it's normally about a year and a half. So it was very challenging. Yeah, right. But then broadband came, and and then sales automation came. It became a bit easier. And but I think it's a good model, and the models kind of which we created. It's amazing. In the USA, the model's more developed than in the UK, for example. In the UK, people like to have their own salespeople in-house. In Germany, it's growing. The model's growing. A little bit in France, it's growing. So it's a lot of people don't understand it, but actually with this model, with the sales outsourcing model, you can increase efficiencies enormously.
Yeah, definitely.
You can increase productivity enormously. You can also, there can be a cost saving between 30 and 50% of. You can save 30 to 50% because our revenue model is more performance based.
Yeah.
And we replace people very quickly. So often the recruitment costs in Europe are very high. Recruiting good people. Especially people in the tech. We mainly focus on the tech and the health tech.
Okay.
So you need quite technical people. You need quite qualified people.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
So the recruitment process. So we charge a small recruitment fee.
How do you actually prove that this is actually very, what do you say, that successful business model? Because providing all the support and everything.
Well, so we proved, our first client was actually somebody I knew. She from Vietnam. So she set up she used to work for Walt Disney companies. So she actually was at Disney Investors. She set up an IT company in London.
Oh, that's
we
very
were doing
good.
all the sales and marketing for her.
Oh, okay.
And we worked for them for 4 years. We helped them exit. So we generated enough revenue so the company grew and they exited. So that was our first company. So we proved. So gradually we proved ourselves, and we won new business by recommendation, which a lot of our business comes in from people who know us. And so what we're doing now is we're growing a global network of people who work with Transaction Focus, and hopefully you'll be working with us in UAE as well, so you understand
Definitely.
more about what we do.
Surely.
And
surely.
so we help us set up a team there as well, because there's a lot of opportunity there. I'll talk to you about that next week. But hopefully, so that's what we do. So we grow a lot word of mouth. We've been working for Intel now for nearly 5 years, and we're working with them in 10 different countries. So we've grown the team enormously with Intel, and we just started off in France. They just contacted us because they were desperate to find somebody in France, and we found them very quickly. In this typical week, and then they wanted us to find somebody in France during the summer when everybody was on holiday.
Okay.
And we said it might be quite difficult, so we found a very young guy, and unfortunately he didn't quite make the grade, so we replaced him free of charge, because that's what we do. If our team don't, we have a guarantee. If our team don't work out, we replace them free of charge. And then we got a very good guy called Arnaud there. And after that, Cisco, ex-Orange, he's a very, very competent guy. And now since then, we've grown our business. We now work for Intel in obviously the UK, Holland, Poland, Russia, Switzerland, Morocco, Ghana, Senegal, and Nigeria next year. So we're growing our team very, very quite quickly. And the reason is because we've obviously generated a lot of new revenue. I think I've learned, because I ran a joint venture in South Korea, so I was the only non-Korean in my agency of 3,000 people, and I set up the first marketing services joint venture in Vietnam in 1994. We set up that joint venture.
1994.
And so I worked in Malaysia, China. I've done a bit of work in Japan as well. So you kind of understand that whenever you do sales marketing, you need a local team, and the local team, you empower the local team to manage it locally.
Yeah.
So we work with you in the UAE. We said, right, you have to do it the UAE way, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
And we just adapt to the local conditions. Obviously, we might, we need to work together, and we have to make sure that American client is very happy, and we do. So there's always a compromise, but it's about flexibility. It's about open-mindedness. It's about empowering the local, and everybody being, so there's about harmony. I think you guys in Kerala, you know what harmony is about. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
it's like
You've been to Kerala?
No, I'd love to. My mother went there last year.
Just let me know if you have any ideas.
But it's almost sort of what we do is almost kind of spiritual. I'll send you when we speak next year. I'll send you our transaction focused mantra, and it's kind of it's about harmony. It's about self growth. It's about individual personal growth of the people. It's about getting the balance.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's about having sharing, being collaborative, cooperative, and sharing. And it's quite a modern view.
Charles, one more thing. How long you been in this industry?
So I've been in the sales outsourcing business since 2004. I've been in the marketing. I've been in the agency. So we're a bit like I always say we're a bit like an advertising agency but sales, or marketing agency but sales. We just focus on the sales. It's very simple. But I've been in the marketing, in the sales and marketing for 35 years.
Jesus Christ, 35 years. That's really, you might have a very good understanding about every market. That's really, I think very senior.
We're always learning, you know.
Yeah.
We're always learning. So we can never relax, can we? Because I started doing sales for a desktop publishing company when I was a student.
Really?
And then it's the first desktop publishing company, and then worked for the Financial Times.
Charles, do you mind actually when was the year?
So I started off in 1986. Yeah.
Oh Jesus, 1986. Still that you did with 86.
So that's so that you know. So since then, you know, I've grown, and then I went into advertising business from working at the Financial Times. I went into the advertising business, then I moved to France, and I moved to Hong Kong, Vietnam. So I've also worked in Romania and Hungary as well.
Okay. So when exactly your company started? 2000?
2004.
2004. Every day is challenging for you, right?
We need a challenge, don't we? You know, every time it makes us wake up. You know, we need to pinch ourselves. You know, we can't. If you're doing the same thing every day, and you'll find it not too difficult. You know, for me, going in, like, my challenge in the new year is going into Nigeria. You know, that's going to be a very tough market. We went into Russia this year, and that to me was it's a real challenge. And now we're lucky we've got a really good guide. So those are not easy markets to go into.
How do you actually manage the language? Is always exactly when you say Japan, South Korea, Russia. Definitely, the language is always a problem for them.
Particularly as an Englishman who doesn't speak, we're not very natural with languages, us English. But I've actually learnt. My wife's French, so I learnt French from a young age. So I speak French fluently. And in Vietnam, before I went to Vietnam, I learnt Vietnamese. So I learnt some Vietnamese, and that's really helped. It was built a lot. You know, my accent was terrible, but at least I made an effort. I didn't learn Korean at all, so I didn't have time. But I'm very conscious that one shouldn't try and learn. But really, we always have a local person. It's very important when we're in. For example, our guy in Ghana just started this week, last week, and so it's very important that they are local Ghanaian, speak the local language culturally. It's very important. And they always speak English, so we can liaise with them in English. So very important.
No, that's really good. So how many languages you know?
I know French very well. I'm fluent in French. Bilingual. I used to speak a bit of German, a bit of Vietnamese. That's about it. But we speak, you know, for example, with IBM, we're very multilingual. So we do a lot of multilingual inside sales. So we did a campaign in 20 countries and 15 different languages. So we have a really strong language capability. and we can scale up, and we can find, we've got a database of people we work with who speak all types of languages. And you're already in Europe. We've got over about 20 languages.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think it's very important that we have people who, and the type of person we work with is a bit like somebody like you, who's from Kerala, worked in UAE, has probably travelled, open-minded. We don't, somebody just lived in England and stayed in England and worked only in England. We don't have the agility, the flexibility, the open-mindedness, the curiosity, the perhaps not always the self-drive. I think people who travel, work overseas, they're more resilient, they're stronger, they take initiatives more easily, they're more entrepreneurial. So those are the types of people we like, part of our family. We're like a global community.
That's really,
And
definitely, that's always a win-win approach. If you have that relationship, it all keeps going.
Yes, that's right. It's a win-win-win, collaborative, cooperative approach.
Definitely.
That's the way. That's how we.
Suppose anyone is planning to come to your industry, what is your advice? Because you've been in industry almost 35 years. What is really important in this industry to make the clients wanting satisfied?
I think it's a bit like in advertising agencies. You've got to really understand the client's business. So you've got to have the desire, the determination, and the curiosity, and the interest in the client's business. So if you become really, really interested in their business and you work hard, and you almost got to know, I say to people, you've got to know their business better than they do, and know the competitors better, know the product better, and be determined to drive forward and to try everything. So a lot of what we do, if you put test selling into Google, I think we come up on the first page. That's what we do. We do test selling, test marketing. To do that successfully, you have to have a real drive. Without drive and determination in sales, you can't succeed. And that's what it is. And really enjoying the client. I think it's very important to tell children now that it's not about your university exams, your degree. It's about just continuing adapting and learning for the rest of your life. It's a marathon, not a sprint. More and more, because I think, like my father had 2 jobs, or my grandfather had a job. My father had two, 3 jobs. I probably had 8 different jobs before I set up Transaction Focus, and our children will have 30 to 50 jobs.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you have 30 to 50 jobs, you might as well be an entrepreneur and run your own business and learn.
How do you manage your time, Charlie?
I'm quite rigorous. My time. I always make space for myself. I just been. My hair's a bit wet. I've just been for a run with my dog. I have a lot of space. You need to have time for yourself. I do a bit of yoga.
That's really good.
You've got to have a bit of relaxation as well.
Yeah.
A bit of time, obviously time with the family. But at the same time, it's having a very, I think now, I think a lot of people find it very difficult, particularly in the sales environment, with having so many Zoom calls in a day.
Yeah.
Okay, so sometimes I have 50 Zoom calls. So you've got to make them very short. Okay, so I always have 15 minutes normally.
That's really good.
Today is different with you. I learned that from the Formula One driver, Rosberg.
Really?
Because he now coaches people. He's retired from. He used to be in the same team as Lewis Hamilton in Formula One, and he always says to be successful in Formula One, you always have to have 10 or 15-minute meetings with everybody. You have to make it short, precise. A lot of people you can waste time because the time is. If you don't keep your time, you lose a lot of energy.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can't.
Thanks, Josh. That was really fantastic, and all the best for you and for your future wins. Any plans to Kerala, just let me
Thanks,
know.
Bijo. Yeah, thank Bijo as well. Thank you. Nice to meet
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Charles.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Charles, for sharing your wonderful thought. Viewers, hope you found the video interesting. See you with the next title. Until then, this is Arun from M. Bye for now.